Good morning, Tuesday, the 14th of June 2022, and welcome to today's version of the pre-US rundown. Today we're going to look at SPUs, oil, and we're going to look at the euro dollar as well. And so what we had yesterday was, obviously gap down coming into the European session. And then really continuation, not really going for those gaps at all yesterday on Nasdaq, DAX, or the S&P 500. So we're going to get over and look at these markets now in a second. But really, a lot of the market now talking about a deepening of the potential rate hikes. So an increase expected now, a 75 basis point hike in the meeting, which will be coming tomorrow evening. We'll be going live on YouTube here in Dublin Capital for that meeting, just about 10 minutes to 7 tomorrow, and then the statement at 7:30 with Jerome Powell. So, the base case coming into this meeting has been we'd be looking at a 50 basis point hike. However, the deepening pullback in equities from the highs, we're now 22% on the close yesterday off the all-time highs, and the SPUs technically bear territory, is kind of feeding into this narrative now that there will be a 75 basis point hike, not a 50. For me personally, I think I'm going to stick with the 50 basis point hike. That's what we've had telegraphed from the Fed. I would be more leaning towards going with what the ECB give forward guidance on, and they stick to it. I think the Fed, it's kind of, this meeting will kind of prove to us if they're going to really stay true to their plan, and I think they will. I really think they will stay with a 50 basis point rate hike tomorrow evening. So 75. I don't think the market's really come off enough for them to warrant a last minute change to that plan. Anyway, getting over onto these charts, you can see, first of all, actually, looking at euro dollar, the euro index versus here, the Dixie index, you're into screaming highs here on the Dixie. Now, my chart here only goes back to 2010. I don't think this is all-time highs for the Dixie, but certainly we're back to 12-year highs on the Dixie here. As you can see, this is the spot index trading into that former high on the year that we had, 105 spot 0204s here on the cash, and so just peaking over there yesterday. Now, such a deep pullback and such a big climb out of it. Today is really going to be, really, actually, we're going to have to wait until, probably Thursday morning to see, is the dollar done? I don't think it is done. I did think it was done when we kind of gave it up. Now, these are weekly bars. I did think it was done when we gave it up here back on the week of the 16th of May, coming down and then below this mega trend. Bit of selling to be had there, but resurgence of the sort of inflation figures coming in last week, really adding into that long dollar, short euro trade. So you're seeing the Dixie coming off that 105s area at the top, likely pullback area, 103 spot 82s, and the euro making some gains on the back of that. Dollar down 0.4, euro up 0.5 on their index respectively, or actually trading future index here versus cash index on Dixie. So all right, that's the currency picture out of the way. Looking at the S&P 500 on the dailies here, well, actually weeklies. So we had a good look at this chart on a weekly perspective yesterday. And so now we're really back to that target area, 3750s. I think I talked about this as a target for the downside yesterday. We traded through that 3809. Well, actually, we didn't even trade through that 3809. It's more just we could not. We kind of opened gap down around here, I think it was, and we just couldn't do anything in terms of holding that yesterday. So this weekly bar printing below now 3809s, currently 3792s at market. So if we do breach the 3750s to the downside, I think we're opening up 3674s quarter, or 75s, 3/4 we'll call it. And back to this really nice demand area here, 36.14 halves, right? See this area? I like this area in particular, right? And I like it so much, I'm going to color it green, all right? Because this is the only area really that I can see that where we really pushed above, all right? We pushed above their new all-time highs, 30th of November 2020. But don't forget, this is actually where we started to, this 2020. But this is really where we started to get the vaccines coming in, a new hope, the Jedi rises, and we come out of COVID and vaccines are here to save us all. And that's kind of where we started to really deploy the vaccines in a global sense, and off we go, right? And sure enough, I mean, look, talk of the vaccines coming online, I think it was around June, and then coming in online around October area, right? But I like how we pushed above here. Now, we are in this post-COVID, almost post-COVID world with vaccines at work. China trying, despite the bar outbreaks that we had over the weekend, now we're trying to get above, but really we pushed above here and held on the pullback in February 2021. So I like a test here, and then we could look for getting long. We'll price in not only tomorrow's rate hike when we're down here, but also the next one for 50 basis points, another 50 basis points. Maybe I'm pretty sure we're going to get a bounce on 36.14s if we do get down there. All right, so I've covered that on the SPOOs, but looking at this on the 60-minute, right? Yesterday coming in excess below that 37.50s, lovely. Just buyers picking up their socks there. And trying to rally on the close, or sorry, it was the it was the close. A little bit of a rally there into the close, but not much to save what was a market that was down, I think, about 3.5%. So now we're holding on VWAP and pivot this morning. It's not looking too good because we should technically, if there are bulls left in this market for buying the dips, they'd have us at 38.09 quarters this morning, I think, easily. I'm still not ruling out that testing within this European session. And then I think we can fold down and look for a breach to the downside. Of course, we're going to get we're going to get industrial production out of the Eurozone in about 23 minutes here. And then we're looking forward in the US to get the core PPIs and PPI figures. Year on year for the core expected at 8.6, which will be just below the prior 8.8. And the the headline figures year on year set to come in 10.9%, just below the prior 11. So these are serious figures. We've had a rise in the CPIs. Let's see what the PPIs have. And if I was a gambling man, which unfortunately I am, I think we're gonna have a beat on these expectations. All right, oil as well. Let's finish up on crude. Here, here's the state of play. I mean, I've got a lot of levels on here. A lot of levels on here. I'm just going to tidy up this wee chart here just a tad and take some of these levels off. And I don't want to take too many levels off because this market can seriously move around, but essentially we're on this lovely trajectory. Yesterday, of course, massive range after 4 o'clock, 4 bells. You see, came down into this area. Now in the room we were looking at a very key level just below here. It wasn't actually the 117.14s, almost confluent there, but it's just a little bit higher between here and there. And we were looking at that for longs, but predominantly we were looking for shorts against the 119.77s. Myself and one of the other traders were actually shorting this. I had to get stopped out on the first shorts, got in the second time, rode her down to targets 117.87s. And then I was done for the day. But as I was finishing up, I just saw this massive bid come in to the market there about actually I can't remember what exact time it was, but in this 4 o'clock hour, just a massive bid on oil, really from the lows back to where it pumped to. You're looking about 3.8%, almost $4.50 on the push there. Really big. Actually, technically it was a 4% move, $4.7 to the upside. A little pullback to close out the session, and then Asia Pac holding pivot and looking for that target on the 122.05. So this market is really, really moving. The bull is alive. The bulls are alive en masse, and so you don't want to be sitting on the wrong side of this market and trying to average in, because it will take all of your money and then some. So yeah, do be careful out there today. All right, that is it for me for another pre-US session. We're going to have FOMC tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock. So I'll be coming in to start my day on the US session at about 1 tomorrow. And then we'll be finishing at 4 and then restarting again at about 6:50. So listen, keep your powder dry for the CPIs for this US session coming out at 1:30 GMT. And otherwise then, for tomorrow evening. So, all right, take care. Have a good one. Bye-bye.